welcome to ZP Productions. This is Richard here. Today we'll be doing this edit here. This is the edit for teal and orange for sunset. So what we're going to do is achieve the photo on the left side using the photo on the right side. So this is the original shot and this is the edited shot. So let's get down to editing straight away. So this shot here is of course done at the sunset. It is about I think 5 p.m. in the evening in Singapore. So the skies are a bit blown out and the sun is, if you notice, is from the front. Now this is not very harsh sun. This is actually the sun behind some clouds, and you can see that the shadows is slightly going to the back of the subject and with a lot of warmness in the shot itself. So there's a few things we have to start correcting first. First, let's retrieve some of the details in the sky because it's a bit too white. So just pull down the highlights and you can see some of the details are already coming out. Just reduce the exposure a little bit. Okay, so when I reduce the exposure a little bit, there's a few things you notice. Firstly, there's a lot more details in the sky than you know. You notice this? And then the next thing is the very strong vignetting. So let me fix the vignetting first before we continue. So for Photoshop, Lightroom, there's a very easy way. It's called Enable Profile Correction. Just click it and in Camera Raw or in Lightroom, they'll just remove all the vignetting within the shot itself. So now the vignetting is over, let us do a little bit of adjustment of the general warm tone. So part of the edit, it will actually introduce orange already. So let's make it less warm and a bit more usable later. Just reduce it to about 5,500. That will be fine. Okay, so now you see it's still blue and then this is the warm light. So what we're going to get is a teal and orange effect. So go all the way to the bottom and then look at this thing called calibration. If you've seen my earlier tutorials, this is actually a function to shift how the Lightroom software reads the pixels and therefore changing the hue of the entire shot itself. So I like hue saturation and luminance. That one is actually selective color editing. This is more of shifting the entire readout and presenting you the final difference in color. So first I will just shift the hue of the entire shot itself. And then you will see the teal coming in now. Now let's don't do it too much. You notice that as you shift the hue down, the skin tone gets changed to some really reddish tone and you don't really want it. So we'll just do some hue so that we get this teal color sky that we like already. Then we go to red primaries and then shift the saturation down. Now don't shift it too much because if you shift it too much, it looks a bit gray and dead. So just shift it just a bit low, maybe like 60 will be fine. Just keep a bit of the reddish tone. Okay, now some of you may want this reddish tone, some of you may not want. So to do that, if let's say you don't want, you want it back to the more yellowish tone, just go to hue of the red primaries and just shift again. And then you get back the hue, the nice reddish yellowish tone of the skin. Okay, so then we move back up all the way to the top. Now we're going to do a bit of editing from here. First, just shift shadow a bit higher. Okay, and then vibrance up a little bit. So you get this very teal and orange tone already. Teal and orange on the subject itself. Now this is of course not the end. Now we will shift all the way down to hue, saturation and luminance. Mainly we are carrying about saturation and luminance for this time round. First we will increase the aqua and blue. This actually is the sky color in this edit. Or you can actually click this knob here, click on the sting and then you notice that this is where it drags. Okay, so we get this sky into the hue, into this tint teal mode that you see here. The next thing we're going to do is actually doing the luminance. Same thing, click on the knob here and then click on the sky and you pull it down. See, now we get this already teal and orange look already. The last final touch is clicking on the person's skin and then shifting it up. And this will raise mainly orange, yellow and a bit of red. So now you really get very, very close to what you've seen earlier. So just a final touch here, you go all the way up and then let's do a bit more of this teal color on the left side of the sky. So using a radial filter, just drag down, reduce its exposure and then increase its saturation a little bit. Thereafter, you don't want it to affect the rest of the shot. You just want it to affect mainly the sky itself. So there's two ways to do it. One, you can do range mask by luminance, and the other one, you can do color selection. So I say I want to only affect the teal color in the sky, so I just click this part of the sky. And if you press O to see the masking, you notice that it really masks out everything else except the sky. So you really get the nice edit that you want. Remove it, and we are already done with the sky itself. And the last thing, you may want to brighten this shot just a little bit more so you get this pop, and maybe brighten the subject just a little bit more also. So just give a 0.17, just increase the brightness here. Now you are really complete. So this is a very simple teal and orange edit for your portraiture for the evening time sky, maybe in countries like Singapore and Malaysia. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you and see you next time.